as President Bola Tinubu has asked the Senate to screen and confirm the nomination of 11 justices of the Supreme Court. The President's request is contained in a letter read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at the resumption of plenary on Wednesday. This is by Section 231, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution.
I hereby present for confirmation by the Senate the names of the underlisted 11 appointed justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Honorable Justice Jumai Hanatu Sange, OFR, North Central. Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada, North Central. Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris. Honorable Justice Haruna Simon Zamani, Northeast. Honorable Justice Jamilu Yamawa Chuko, Northwest. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest considerations. Yours sincerely. This is signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and dated 13th day of December 2023.
Well, Rufai, your take on this story. Earlier on, there'd been a long list of possible nominees to the Supreme Court as justices, and now it's been trimmed down to 11. Your take on this story?
I mean, I'm excited that we're going to be filling the Supreme Court because, goodness me, most of those justices that were there prior to this time, they did a yeoman's job. There were not enough judges on the bench. A lot had retired. I think recently Amin Al-Gay retired and a couple of other judges. But now, finally, you have these judges on the bench now, and we can have a full complement when they're finally passed. So kudos on this. But also, these judges must remember that they're coming to the judiciary at a time that the judiciary is really blighted. And the question is, what are they going to do? Recently, Chidi Odonkalu wrote an article pointing out some challenges in the judiciary as regards how the legal sector has turned into a place where people that have failure relationships are moving up the ladder, one way or the other, that people pretty much aid and abet family members and cronies and things like that to put them up the ladder. We've also talked ad nauseum about the welfare of judges, because you cannot effectively have better justice delivery system if you don't have proper welfare and better working conditions. So what is being done as regards all of that is another challenge at this point in time. Secondly, I think at this point in time too that we're having new judges is they talk about a lot of frivolous ex partes, and we can see it how it played out in the Rivers case, you know, where two different ex partes were given at any point in time. So it looks as though you can just go to the courts and the judges and shop for ex parte and things like that. And also, cases, you know, determination of cases. There are many cases up for determination at the Supreme Court. I think very soon the case as regards Kanu will be determined. These judges will not play any role in that anyway. But, you know, for the Supreme Court judge has been called of let justice be done, and all of the things that blighted our political past. So they're coming at a time where there are lots of challenges. But, you know, since they've been selected and they've gone through the processes, we believe very strongly in their capacity. And like Caesar's wife, they must be above board. We can't have a country where we have justices frolicking with politicians, going to their parties. Back in the days, Supreme Court justices across board, you hardly saw them in public gatherings. But today, we have seen a very top justice in this country at a party of a politician. Former Rivers State Governor Party, and Seyi Makinde was there. And the top justice in this country was there in that party too. We can't have a country that way. And it blights the judiciary so much. So we expect the very best. We wish them well. But we must fix our judiciary because it's constantly being on the spotlight. And I think the words of Justice Datijo at his valedictory circuit should reign supreme. There are many cases that have blighted our judicial system. To date, some judges can't fly out of the country, they can't go to a second country because of those cases. So we wish them well. And like Tashular said, may their road be rough.
All right, yeah, let me start with Justice Musa Datijo Mohammed's infamous valedictory speech, where he made bold some claims around absolute, saying that there were rots in the judiciary system, and also that the CJN had too much power vested in that office, and also that he also there were accusations of nepotism, because as it stood then, before this nomination or these nominees were brought forward to the Senate, the Southeast and the North and North Central weren't represented. So they had 3 justices from the Southwest, 3 from, I believe, the Northeast, whilst Northwest and South had 2 slots filled each. However, Southeast and North Central weren't represented. And according to Justice Musa Datijo Mohammed, during his valedictory speech, he had proposed that perhaps this was done deliberately, and that this had hampered issues from those areas being dealt with fairly. It seems as if when you look at the composition of the nominees, this has been addressed, because from these nominees, we now see that there are 3 nominees from the Southeast and there are 3 nominees from the North Central, balancing that equation that Justice Musa Datijo Mohammed had highlighted in his valedictory speech. So that's quite good. The other aspect then we would then look at with the nominations of these justices is the rot he mentioned, and you've spoken to that, Rufai, in terms of cleaning up the judiciary system. The judiciary has actually been under trial, in recent times, with people faulting some of the decisions made, especially following the elections. Hence, the onus will be, and it's interesting that the president of the presidential Election Petition Tribunal is also nominated. So it'll be interesting to see how they will fix the image, if I could put it that way. We must uphold the institution of the judiciary, which is one of the most important institutions in any democracy. It mustn't be tainted, it mustn't be desecrated, and it mustn't be, almost insulted by, in the public sphere. It must be held in high esteem, and the onus is on the justices and the institution to be strengthened. So perhaps a few other areas with regards to the amount of power vested on the CJN might want to be revisited. So also in terms of the independence of the judiciary, I'm glad you talked about the welfare of judges as well. So these are other issues, but this is I believe that this is a great step in the right direction, especially as it addresses the accusations of nepotism, and hoping that if confirmed, the justices who have been nominated will, discharge their duties with the utmost faith, imposed in them by Nigerians.